Hey everyone, I am super excited. I am starting the curtains for our bedroom. So I'm using the material that I got in Paris and I've done all the measurements. So stick with me as we do some math. Conveniently, the two windows in our bedroom are almost the same size and they are almost the same size as the window in the bedroom that I'm working in as my sewing room, which is to say 127 centimeters wide-ish. So that's my working width. Plus the tie backs vary from, 5 to 30 centimeters away from the edge. It's quite variable and they also aren't aligned at the right height. So we may have to fix that at some point. So I'm using an average of 10 centimeters away and that will add into my overall width. Another variable is how much overlap I want. So these curtains I did close to a 10 centimeter turn back overlap with the lining. Here is the stunning material that we got in Paris that will make up our curtains. And it is, I believe, 280 centimeters wide because it's double width. I went back and remeasured the amount of material I had because, I was in a fabric shop and it was exciting and the guy was offering me deals. So he just kept saying, well, we're almost through this roll. So do you want this much more? And I just kept saying yes. So I had to recalculate how much I'd actually had and whether I had the right lengths without having any horizontal seams. Anyway, this is where I ended up. And the math keeps coming the more I look at it. So I'd done one calculation here and then I realized I'd made a mistake because I had put the width to the tie back, the extra 10 centimeters to the tie back and the turned under edge in before I'd done the fullness. But I don't really want to include those in the fullness because I don't want that 24 centimeters to then be like 2.5 times that. So what I really want to do is calculate the fullness across the half width first and then add in the allowances. So I've done that over here. So there's the 64, there's the 2.5 fullness. And then I added the 10 centimeters, the tie back, and then I added two 10 centimeter turned under edges on the left and right to get 194, because I only did one of those the first time. So math, 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 check, check, double check, measure twice, cut once, that sort of thing. I think what I've decided is for this window behind me, which is adjacent to the bed, I'm going to use a less of a fullness, probably the 1.4, so that I can just split a length of the material down the middle. That way there will be less material bulked up against the edge of the bed because we also want to do something on the 4-poster. So there'll be a lot of material bunched up against the nightstand and over the radiator. So I'm hoping I can get away with less fullness there so that I can use a fullness, the full 2.5 on the tower window. So this is the one that looks out to the tower and over against the doors. So they could have a full 2.5 fullness there as well, looking out over to the park. What do you guys think? Is that a good choice?
So very sadly, the curtains that we took down in the dining room did not fare very well in the laundry. We were hoping that the fabric could be used for something. Obviously the joke about the dresses. Some of them look like they might hold together, but this one I was literally just pulling it out on the clothesline and it's just falling apart. You can see how easily that tears. So unfortunately, I don't think this fabric is going to last much longer. All right, so the old curtains, these are the curtains in our bedroom, or what we're calling the Chatelaine room. And they are old and drab and time to go. So Sarah, who's delightfully matching them right now with her shirt, or close to it, is just unhooking the old curtains.
Or trying to. I'm trying to be brave.
Yep.
Oh, so close. I did it! I did it!
Well done.
Thanks.
There you go.
Oh, and now I can come down. That's my favorite part. Literally sweating. It's okay.
I do the same.
Yay, I did a thing.
This is our delightful view out of our window. We can see a wonderful view of our tower. So this is the first sneak peek of the new curtains, is it?
It is. Pardon my pins. Yeah. It'll be all pleated at the top, so don't worry about the ill fitting right now.
But you can see the lovely texture.
Yeah, I'm just thrilled with this material. It's everything we love.
Yeah, it's just gorgeous. And I think with the light behind it, it's really going to transform this room into something a little brighter. It feels a little more
Chateau-y.
Chateau-y and more us too, I think.
Yeah.
I think these are going to be really, really nice.
Yeah, and I'm liking the fullness, so I planned for 2.5 fullness on this.
Right.
Which is because this material is extra wide, unlike the other material that I've got for the curtains, which did about a 1.5 or 1 3/4 fullness because of the width of the material, whereas this I can do a full 2.5. So
luxurious.
Lots and lots of gathering material back here. So
very nice. Very nice. We came to Leroy Merlin, or Leroy Merlin for our Canadian
English friends. Yeah.
We're looking at some paint colors. So we took a look at the wallpaper that we're looking at for the cafe, which matches, the main color matches something similar to that. So we took a look through. This is a Pantone swatch book, so not quite a paint swatch book, but it's close enough. It'll give us at least a sense of color. And we're thinking, initially we were thinking something like that for the trim work in the dining room. The dining room, we have another plan as far as the plaster work that goes in there. It'll be much more neutral tone, but we have a surprise for that room that we're planning on. And we might add some texture to it, a textured wallpaper or something like that, just to cover the imperfections of the plaster work that's in behind. But we're taking a look at different paint samples, trying to figure out what will work well. Like we want to capture that Art Nouveau sort of tonal range. That's really what we're aiming for. So that's where these colors kind of come into it. I mean, the wallpaper that we selected, I think, has that nice tone to it. Yeah. We're trying to find something that will complement it, but not necessarily be exactly the same as it. Yeah. Because they're two different rooms, but you will see one through the other. So it's important that they have a relationship.
Yes.
So we're looking at things like mint, I think is getting closer. But the nice thing is they could sample the color directly off of the Pantone swatch and get us nice and close. So
maybe we could do one of each, one of the in-store ones and our custom one, and go from there.
I think that's a good idea.
All right.
Let's do that.
Steve's doing things.
Well, we got some samples from the store the other day, so we figured we would stick them on the wall, and that way we can take a look at the different colors. And they are quite different, actually. Looking at them now, all three of them have distinct characters, shall we say.
Okay. And you have to remember that Steve is talking about this as a graphic designer, so some of us go, they're blue and blue and blue. And Steve goes, but they're completely different.
We've had this discussion a few times about oranges and yellows, and they can be very polarizing, I will fully admit, but
We were looking at colors up in the bedroom yesterday, and Steve was like, well, that one's not yellow. I was like, that one's yellow. He's like, it's not yellow. It's definitely yellow.
Yellow is one of those really weird ones to me, where I've had people look at colors and go, it's orange. And it's like, no, it's yellow. And and the thing is, because I know how to mix colors, because I'm a painter, I look at colors and go, okay, well, there's this percentage of yellow versus this percentage of red versus this percent, so I'm sort of looking at it as, okay, there's a percentage of color in that, and that's how I just define whether it's yellow or if it's green. But I understand that's not everybody's thing.
What about these paintbrushes? Are they yellow?
These are yellow. That I would call yellow. But it's funny because I've had that argument before. People have said these are orange.
Okay.
But I would say that is yellow.
What about these?
They're definitely red.
Okay, all right. Good. We agree on the primaries.
Well, red is the primary, exactly. Red, blue, and yellow are primaries, and anyhow. So, should we use this wall to paint on?
I think we should do both, because this is actually the color for the wainscoting.
Right.
But I think the white will show up the true color better, right? So do we put a little bit on both?
Sure.
Just to get a couple of different lights against it.
Sure.
Yeah.
So what's your reaction to the colors, at least seeing them in the pots?
I love them all. Yeah, anybody who doesn't love ocean tones is going to have a problem with our decorating scheme generally, so I'll just put that out there.
Yeah.
We love anything oceany. I don't know, I think I'm still gravitating towards our mixed one, just looking at them in the pot.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm anxious to get on the wall. Can I get on the wall? What can I do?
All right, here we go. First color. So what was this one called?
This is...
Infinity Blue.
Okay, good.
I think, according to the lid.
Oh, it looks different.
Think so?
I think it looks much more blue on the wall. It looks much more green in the pot to me and my...
Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah.
So, and we're gonna do a bit on the trim as well, maybe just on this panel here, that way it's nice and flat.
Okay.
It's a little tricky with this one because of course the ground is still...
Yeah, we don't have primer on it, which I know we should, but...
With that. Okay, so there's paint number one.
Paint number two.
Paint number two, so this one is, what would we call this one?
How much gap do you want between them?
I'd say an inch.
Is that okay?
Yeah.
Okay, okay.
Oh, much more dramatic.
Ooh.
So what one is this called?
This is Luxon's Aqua 3.
Aqua 3, right.
So this is the satin finish and the other two are velour.
Right.
So the satin has a bit more sheen to it and the velour is somewhere between a matte and a satin.
Yeah. It really is just the amount of reflective light you get off of them.
Okay.
It's definitely the darkest of the three.
I don't mind dark in a dining room, right? Like I think that adds a bit of drama to it.
Yeah.
Because most often we use this in the evening, and so you kind of want to get that cozy, warm feeling.
Well, on top of that, because the top sections are going to be quite light, because we want to keep it relatively neutral for exhibition space.
Yeah. That's true.
We can go a little more dramatic with it.
Okay. So now the one that we mixed. Oh.
Wow, that's really bright.
So rich. That's so rich. I love it.
It is. It's got a really nice tone to it. It really is kind of in between the other two.
Yeah.
A little more green.
Luxon's was recommended by a bunch of Facebook groups.
Mm-hmm.
We looked at Farrow and Ball and a couple of others. They are the premium brands, but you can't mix your own colors with them. So that's the trick. You have to pick one of their predefined colors.
Might need to adjust it. So there you go. What do you think? We'll go 1, 2, and 3.
What do you guys think?
Yeah, let us know.
Steve and I are split.
Yeah, I need it to dry first before I can make a final decision. I'm finding that the light, or this color, is a bit candy-ish for me at the moment, but I think it needs to dry first. I quite like the way this is feeling, but that's, again, just on initial. Interesting. Mm-hmm. Regardless, it's going to be a dramatic change, which will be really nice in here, I think. Yeah, really.
Well, anything will be fresher at this point. So yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, there's the experiment.
All right. Comment away, people.
Yeah. Last week on the vlog, we showed you us taking down the wallpaper in the dining room and getting ready to redecorate that room. We also talked about the room in between the kitchen and the dining room that we're calling the salle de pause or the cafe, which we're also going to redecorate. We showed you a couple of wallpaper samples, and I think there was a bit of a miscommunication because the wallpaper is going to be for the salle de pause, not for the dining room. So let me clarify what our plans are. I've gone to Photoshop and I've started doing a couple of renderings. So let me show you what we've come up with. So this is our salle de pause. You've probably seen it in previous vlogs. We've got this magnificent chandelier that was bought by our friends Elska and Mo. But obviously this room has got a lot going on. It's got the purple doors and the white frames and a rather dated wallpaper on it. So what we've decided to do is, first off, we're going to paint the doors a white or an off-white, and also the ceiling. Our first option that we were thinking about wallpaper-wise was this one that you guys saw last time. You can see this works really nicely with the light. Obviously the bird motif works well with the painting that's in the light as well. And I think it'll just really enhance this room quite a bit. I did want to show you what the other wallpaper was going to look like. So this was the other sample that we had. We feel like this green is probably going to work the best. It's rich, and this room we use quite a bit. This is somewhere where when we don't have guests, this is where we eat. It's our pantry. The two doors that you see here are actually our pantry doors. So we're in and out of here all the time, and it'd be great to have a nice cozy room. The thing is, there's actually 7 doors that lead into this room, plus a window and frame. So although the wallpaper has a lot going on in it, it's not going to be that big of a mass of it. This, as I say, is the largest wall, but it'll be easily broken up with both the white ceiling and the many doors and frames that are in there that are going to be in a neutral color. So let me give you an idea of what we're thinking for the dining room. So this is the dining room as it was. So what we're thinking, again, we're going to take out, the wallpaper, which you've seen us already do, and go with something quite neutral. We're looking into, and we're just getting samples now of textured wallpapers so that it'll have a little bit of texture to it, but it'll be a relatively neutral background. And we're doing this because we want to be able to use this space as an exposition space going forward. However, we can't leave it quite like that for all the time, because it's a little boring for our tastes. So what we've decided to do is, first of all, we're going to change the color of the trim. You've seen the colors that we've chosen. The color we had mixed at Le Bois Merlin, you'll see here in the trim. So this just freshens everything up a little bit. And then what we're going to do is, instead of leaving these walls all blank, or even with just artwork on it, we've decided we're going to do panels instead, painted panels. So the idea is we're going to use a common motif and put in panels on the walls. Because we got this magnificent canvas from our friends down the road, which is 2 meters wide by 8 meters long, what we figure is we'll do one painting across all of that canvas and then slice it up and use it as panels on the wall. This gives us obviously some color and life and freshness into the room itself, but it also allows us to take those off when we want to display artwork for exposition space. And Sara will definitely work on something for the curtains. But there you go, that's our idea. It should be really fun and really interesting. It also allows us to be really flexible within the space, which is important because we do want to make sure that our space is available for expositions going forward. We want to have more artists come in and display their work. So this is hopefully going to be the perfect solution for us going forward. And we'll obviously take you through the process as we continue.